Hello, everyone. Tonight, let us journey into a world where knowledge wasn't held in vast, towering libraries or instant, limitless digital databases. Instead, it lived vibrantly within the minds, the skilled hands, and the very voices of its people. Forget our familiar classrooms, sleek textbooks, or even widespread literacy as we know it today. Tonight, we'll explore how information, essential skills, and timeless wisdom were truly passed down in the Middle Ages through a vibrant, living tradition of oral storytelling, painstaking apprenticeship, and the astonishing power of human memory. Imagine a time when every elder was quite literally a living book, and every haunting song carried a profound lesson. The unseen classroom, learning by doing. For the vast majority of medieval people, the concept of a classroom with desks and blackboards simply didn't exist. Their education wasn't found in a building, but was intimately woven into the very fabric of their home, the bustling workshop, or the endless, sun-drenched fields. Learning was a deeply practical, profoundly hands-on process, utterly interwoven with the daily rhythm of life itself. Children didn't go to school to learn abstract concepts from scrolls. Oh no, they learned by observing keenly, by tirelessly imitating, and by actively participating from the moment they could walk steadily on their own 2 feet. Picture, if you will, the bustling scene inside a humble peasant family's cottage or out in their small patchwork fields. A young boy, perhaps barely 5 or 6 years old, wouldn't be sent off somewhere. He would be right there, tethered by curiosity and necessity, beside his father. He'd watch mesmerized as his father guided the heavy wooden plow through the stubborn earth, saw how he carefully sowed the precious seeds by hand, or how he repaired a broken tool with rough, ingenious practicality, making something new from almost nothing. His father wouldn't lecture him on abstract agricultural principles. Instead, the boy would learn by seeing it done, by feeling the gritty soil in his own small hands, by understanding the weight of the hoe as he mimicked his father. Gradually, painstakingly, through endless repetition, his own small, clumsy hands would begin to mimic those vital motions, slowly, surely mastering the fundamental skills of farming. He'd learn the intricate dance of the seasons, how to interpret the subtle weather signs etched in the sky, the names of the plants that sustained them, and the calls of the birds that warned or promised, all essential life or death knowledge for survival. Similarly, a young girl would be a constant shadow at her mother's side, learning how to spin raw wool into strong yarn, how to weave simple cloth on a small hand-built loom, how to knead dough for the day's bread, how to churn butter until it separated perfectly, and how to preserve food through salting or drying, so that the family might survive the lean winter months. These weren't simply chores, as we might call them. They were her entire education, the absolutely fundamental skills for running a self-sufficient household and ensuring the family's very survival. The curriculum was life itself, raw and immediate, and the teachers were the most immediate and trusted figures: parents, elder siblings, and the experienced neighbors, all passing down accumulated wisdom through direct, lived experience, ensuring ancient practices endured. The guild's sacred lore, apprenticeship, and master craftsmen. Beyond the quiet rhythms of the village, in the burgeoning, noisy towns and cities that were slowly rising across Europe, the transfer of knowledge became more formalized, yet it remained profoundly personal and deeply human. This was the vibrant realm of the guilds, the powerful, self-governing associations of skilled craftsmen. If you harbored the ambition, the burning desire, to master a trade, be it the intricate art of shoemaking, the sturdy precision of carpentry, the fiery transformation of blacksmithing, or the delicate finesse of weaving fine cloth, you would have to enter into a rigorous apprenticeship. This wasn't a casual summer job. It was a long, arduous, and utterly committed undertaking, typically lasting 7 years, sometimes even more, demanding immense dedication from both master and apprentice. A young boy would literally leave their own family home and go to live in the master's household, becoming a new, adopted part of his immediate family and his workshop. Imagine the young apprentice's life during those formative years. Endless hours of often tedious repetitive tasks, sweeping the workshop floor until it gleamed meticulously, preparing raw materials, running errands, through crowded, smelly streets, all while constantly silently observing his master's every move. He learned not from textbooks or lectures, but by watching the master's calloused hands skillfully shape the metal, stitch the leather with practiced ease, or carve the wood with elegant precision. He learned by doing, gradually moving from simple tasks to more complex ones, refining his technique day by painstakingly long day, year by patient year. The master's deep, accumulated knowledge wasn't written down for all to see. It was his secret, a precious inheritance, guarded fiercely within the guild to protect their trade's value and exclusivity. This knowledge was transferred not through written manuals, but through direct demonstration, through countless hours of patient, oral instruction, and through tireless, dedicated practice that imprinted the skills onto the apprentice's very being. The constant sounds of the workshop, the rhythmic hammering, the scraping of tools, the whirring of spinning wheels became the very language of his learning, shaping his understanding in a way that words alone could not. Only after proving his undeniable skill, his unwavering character, and his absolute mastery of the craft, sometimes by creating a masterpiece, would he earn the right to become a journeyman, free to travel and gain more experience, and eventually, if he was truly exceptional, a master himself, ready to pass on the whispering scrolls of his craft to the next eager generation, continuing the unbroken chain of knowledge. The power of the spoken word, storytelling and memory, in a world where the vast majority of people could not read or write, the spoken word held an immense, almost magical power. Oral tradition was not just a pastime. It was the absolute primary means of transmitting history, fundamental laws, crucial news, vital morality, and beloved entertainment. It was the internet, the library, and the theater, all rolled into one. Storytelling around the hearth. Imagine long, dark medieval evenings in a smoky cottage or the vast, echoing great hall of a castle, with only the flickering, dancing light of the fire to illuminate faces. This was the prime setting for storytelling, a cherished ritual. Elders would recount local histories, myths, and ancient legends of creation, inspiring tales of saints and valiant heroes, ribald humorous anecdotes, and chilling cautionary tales about foolishness or misfortune. These stories weren't just for entertainment. They were vital, living lessons, conveying moral codes, explaining social norms, and imparting practical wisdom in memorable, emotionally resonant forms. Children would absorb these narratives like sponges, learning their culture, their family's lineage, and their place in the grand scheme of the world through these compelling, often vivid narratives. They were the television, radio, and history books of their time. Bards and minstrels. Wandering bards and minstrels were truly the medieval equivalent of traveling newspapers. Historians and entertainers all rolled into one charismatic package. They were vital conduits of information and culture. They would journey from village to village, from isolated castle to bustling town, singing ballads of recent battles, celebrating royal weddings, recounting the drama of grand tournaments, or spreading the latest local scandals. They literally carried news and gossip on their tongues, often embellishing it with dramatic flair, providing a crucial living link between disparate, often isolated communities. Their vibrant performances kept history alive, spread new ideas, and maintained cultural cohesion across vast distances, making them powerful, influential figures whose arrival would be eagerly anticipated. Imagine the sheer excitement their arrival would bring to a remote village, offering a thrilling taste of the outside world, a momentary connection to something larger than themselves. Proverbs and riddles. Wisdom, the accumulated common sense of generations, was often encapsulated in short, easily memorized proverbs and witty riddles passed down orally from parent to child, from master to apprentice. These acted as portable packets of common sense, ethical guidance, and practical advice, easily recited and remembered in times of need. A stitch in time saves nine might not be medieval, but the principle certainly was. Ballads and songs, history, intricate genealogy, and epic tales of valor or tragedy were often preserved in ballads and long narrative songs, making them far easier to remember and transmit accurately across generations. The rhythmic structure, the rhyming schemes, and the melody itself aided recall, ensuring that important information, from the lineage of kings to the stories of local heroes, survived and was passed down when written records were scarce or non-existent. These songs were the communal memory, sung around fires, in fields, and on journeys. This profound reliance on oral tradition meant that memory was a far more highly developed and crucially important faculty than it is for most of us today. People had vast repertoires of stories, songs, poetry, and practical knowledge committed entirely to memory, drawing upon them constantly and effortlessly in their daily lives. Losing an elder was like losing an entire library. The limited realm of literacy, scribes and scholars, while the vast majority of medieval society lived and thrived in an oral world where spoken words held sway. Literacy did undeniably exist, though it was largely confined to specific privileged groups and served very specific, often administrative or religious purposes. It was a specialist skill, not a universal one. The clergy, monks, nuns, and priests were, without question, the primary guardians of literacy and formal learning. In monastic scriptoria, those hushed, often cold rooms, monks painstakingly copied books by hand, preserving ancient texts from classical antiquity and creating new theological, philosophical, and historical works. These scriptoria were, effectively, the libraries and rudimentary universities of their time, where knowledge was carefully protected, diligently cultivated, and laboriously reproduced. Parish priests would read scriptures aloud in church, perform Mass, and interpret official documents, acting as the literate voice of the church to their illiterate flocks. Nobility. While many early medieval nobles were illiterate warriors, over time, some members of the nobility did become literate, often out of practical necessity for administrative purposes, to read crucial charters or to engage more deeply with religious texts. Knights might be taught basic reading for military strategy, to understand heraldry, or to enjoy tales of chivalry. However, many still relied on clerks for reading and writing. Merchants. In the later medieval towns, as commerce expanded, some merchants became literate out of sheer practical necessity. They needed to keep meticulous accounts, write complex letters to distant trade partners, and understand legal trade agreements. This marked a significant shift as literacy began to extend its reach beyond the exclusive domain of the church and nobility, driven by economic imperative. Royal courts. Scribes and clerks were absolutely essential in royal chanceries, the administrative heart of kingdoms. They were responsible for drafting laws, recording intricate court proceedings, and managing the burgeoning administration of increasingly centralized kingdoms. Their meticulous work created the written records that form much of our understanding of medieval government. Books themselves were incredibly rare and precious artifacts, painstakingly created with immense effort and expense. Imagine a single Bible taking a monk years to copy, its pages often illuminated with vibrant colors and shimmering gold leaf, each one a unique work of art. These wasn't casually read. They were revered objects, accessed by few, and often kept chained to desks in libraries to prevent theft, their value immeasurable. The common reading experience for most medieval people was communal, listening to scripture read aloud in church, or hearing a royal decree proclaimed loudly by a herald in the market square. The enduring legacy of the oral tradition, the medieval approach to knowledge, deeply rooted in a vibrant oral tradition. and hands-on practical apprenticeship may seem incredibly primitive to us, accustomed as we are to instant information and digital omnipresence. Yet, it fostered a profound, tactile, and deeply personal connection between people and their history, their essential skills, and their tightly knit communities. It instilled a deep, almost instinctual respect for elders as living repositories of wisdom, and it cultivated incredible, almost lost powers of memory and keen observation. It shaped a culture rich in immersive storytelling, evocative song, and tangible skill, where every artifact and every shared tale was a living, breathing link to the past, continuously reinterpreted and revitalized by each telling. They managed without our technology, by elevating human connection, shared experience, and the accumulated wisdom of generations to an art form, ensuring that vital knowledge was not lost to the winds of time, but constantly whispered from one soul to the next, forming an unbroken chain of learning that spanned centuries. So as you drift off to sleep, perhaps you can hear the faint, timeless echoes of a ballad sung long ago by a wandering minstrel, the rhythmic cadence of a master's instructions, patiently guiding an apprentice's hands, or the quiet murmur of a beloved story, being told by a crackling fire on a long winter's night. Imagine a world where knowledge truly lived, not in sterile servers or printed pages, but in the warm, resonant hearts and voices of its people, passed on like a precious, invisible scroll from one generation to the next, a testament to the enduring power of human connection. Good night.